Hello, everyone. This is Stacy. Welcome to the landing.
Down east, some lives become landmarks. Steady, weathered, and full of stories, the tide itself seems to remember. Today we are honored to sit down with a lady whose life has stretched across generations, whose memories carry the rhythm of this place and its people. Her stories are priceless, shaped by long days, hard work, deep faith, and a love for home that's never faded. To know her is to love her, and her legacy reaches far beyond her own years. Woven into family, community, and the very soul of Down East, it's a privilege to listen, to learn, and to share her voice with you today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the landing. I am smiling while I'm talking because I am so excited about what is in store for not just you today, but for me as well. I absolutely adore this lady, and anybody who knows her or has met her for 5 minutes feels the same way. So, without lingering any longer, let's jump right into it. So, if you will, please tell us your name, who's your crowd, and where you are from.
Okay. I am Emma Rose Guthrie. I'm 92 years old. I was a spring baby. I come from a family of 14 children. My mama, my daddy, and my grandmama always live with us. And we were a close-knit family. I think we were the biggest family on the island. There's 8 of us still living, 4 girls and 3 boys, I believe. 4 girls and 3 boys. Anyway, we've lost a lot. We lost one of the twins. I have a sister that's 97, living alone, taking care of herself. I have a sister that's 94, taking care of herself. And I got me, I'm 92, and on all the way down. And I got 5 brothers. I helped raise my brothers because I said I had the smartest mother on earth. She had the girls first. And then she had the boys. So
That was good planning.
I really feel like their mother. I still help take care of them. I'm always there for them. And I have 3 girls of my own. I married the love of my life way back in 1951. And we had just been married 5 months when he had to go off in that old Korean War. They going, I only saw him one time when he was in service. They trained him, put him right on the battlefield, just like they done my brother. But anyway, when he came back, I'm talking about he got back in 53, November 53. But he come back a solid basket case.
Wow.
I took care of him 60 years. Forgive me if I tear it. And his last 23 years, he was completely disabled. And we didn't get benefits then till later years. We did. In 87, we started getting a little bit of he had gotten so bad a shape by then. But anyway, he was a great man, a good-hearted man. But he died in 11. But I took care of him, and I was more of I was a captain of the boat. I was a commercial fisherman. If you're born on the island, raised on the island, that's what you do, you know. But I remember when I was a little girl, every time we lived down on the shore right where Barber's Harbor is now, that's where I was born. But Daddy used to say our house was close to the water, you almost could step off the porch in the water. And he said, of all the children I got, and I was a runt, I was a little one, but I always was an active one, still am today.
Still are, that's
But
right.
he used to say, when he would go down to get on the boat, then you had a skiff and you had to pull out to the boat, the bigger boat. He said, Em, are you sitting there waiting for me? I was just maybe 4, 5, 6 years old, waiting to go on that boat with him.
Wow.
He never left that landing hardly that I went on that boat. And we'd go to Beaufort to get groceries on the boat on Saturdays. That was our thing. And anyway, came from my family were boat builders, famous Rose Brothers boat builders. And I'll tell you what, it's in the genes because my brothers still build boats. They still build boats. Now they're building crafts with boats, like my brother Manley. But anyway,
I love it. I love it so much. Now, how old were you when you got married?
18.
18 years old. And how long did you say you were married before he left?
5 months.
5 months.
I'll tell you, when he come back, I hardly recognized him.
Wow.
He come back to a solid basket case.
Wow.
So then they called it shell shocked. Now they got another name for it.
Yeah.
But
no telling why
he was so outgoing. He played in a band. There was 4 of them in the same neighborhood. They played in a band, and they were getting famous. I'll tell you what.
Wow.
He played the lead guitar, and Tommy Gray which was my cousin. Tommy Gray played, and Emma Guthrie and Paul Norris Nelson. That was the 4 that started out, and they were getting, like I say, we had one television station, then Channel 9. They would play Saturday night on Bar 7 Roundup on Channel 9.
Oh, wow.
And they played, they had their own radio show in Beaufort. We had a radio station in Beaufort then. And they would, from 1 hour, from 2 until 3 every Saturday, they had their radio show. And they were the Coastal Playboys. And one of my great-grandsons right now he's got that music in him, and he's getting his little band up.
Oh,
and I told him, I said, you're going to have to name that little band the Coastal Playboys.
I love that.
But most of the family don't want him to get into music, but he enjoys it. Now, he's got another job, because he's got to have a job, you know. But he loves music so much.
Yes, and foster
And,
that, yes.
and they were so talented. My husband never looked at a note. We had a piano in the house. We had an accordion. He got that accordion. He ordered it from a mail order company that was named Alden's. And he ordered that, and it come on Thursday, and he played that Saturday night on the Bar 7 Roundup.
Oh, my goodness.
He could play a banjo.
So he just played by ear.
Anything he picked up, he could play. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I wish I had a little bit of that in me. Wow. Well, now, Miss Emma, think back to when you were a little girl. How did you all pass the time? What did you all do for fun?
Well, we entertained ourselves, teachers. Let me tell you this though.
Okay.
When we grew up on the island, when I grew up, my first years, we didn't have a bridge. We didn't have electricity. We didn't have refrigerators, bathrooms. We had an outdoor toilet Daddy made, and it was 2-seaters. We thought we had it made. We lived right near the cemetery. It was almost in the cemetery. It was our family cemetery anyway. But we always had plenty to eat. I'll tell you that, because my grandmom always had a garden in the backyard. And we had ducks. We had chickens. Daddy raised a pig. He'd get it every summer. And they would butcher it, him and his brother. Every January, they would butcher it. We didn't have ice enough then, no refrigerators, but they would salt the meat and preserve it that way. Same way they did with fish and mullet roe and all that stuff. But in my family, we were very organized. I'll tell you, I don't ever, till this day, ever remember a fight scratching one of my brothers and sisters and things like that. And we're still very close. There's hardly a day that I don't go visit them right now.
Wow.
I go visit 3 of them. I do most of them, but the 3 that are older, and Man and my brothers that got wounded in Vietnam, I go visit him every day, and can't talk about him. I cry too, because Vietnam destroyed him too. But anyway, he never let it interfere with him.
Right.
He's still working till this day. He makes little boats. There's one to the front door when you come in.
Yeah, folks,
But
tell them about that. When you come to the museum's
you
main
come in, when
entrance.
you come in the front door on the right, when you open the door, there's like a little buffet table there, and it's got a homemade boat. Was named after the most famous boat on the island, which was Brady Lewis, and his father made that boat. But this is a scale model of it. But he made that. He's got no fingers on his right hand. Of course, he was left-handed, thank God, when he lost his leg and his hand.
Wow.
But he was left-handed, but he lost the right side. So he's got his knuckle and his thumb, and they wanted to take that off, and he wouldn't let them. He stayed in Fort Gordon, Georgia, a year, and I was there most of the time.
I bet
I'm
you
still
were.
there for him. Tell you
Yes.
that. But he's got his little workshop.
And he made that for you.
He made not only that, he makes different kinds. He made me a scale model of my daddy's boat, a sail skiff. We called it a sail skiff. There was no such thing as an engine in a boat when I was growing up.
Right.
So Daddy, they all built their own boats, furniture, houses, anything they wanted, they could just build. Stealing my grandyoung's right now.
Wow.
Stealing me, tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I
You can do
helped
a
build.
little bit.
I helped build every house I got. You know the truth. But anyway, he sat there in his shop. I got all kinds of pictures of him. He didn't know I was taking all these pictures. And he's 81 now. On his 80th birthday, I was taking pictures all over the place. And on his 80th birthday, I had them all developed and made him an album.
Oh, wow.
And I've got some of them right there with me now. If anybody ever wants to sell, made him an album. And for Christmas, I'm planning on. I got a big picture of me, 8x10, of me and him when he graduated from his graduation in Fort Bragg. That's where it went first.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about getting a picture, put that on canvas, and give him one of them for Christmas.
Oh, he would love that.
But he is the cleanest man you ever seen in your life. Now, me and Helen goes, I go once a week, and I'll sweep and dust, and you won't go there and find a cup in his sink.
Wow.
And he makes his bed. Now I redo it. He said, I know. When I go there, he'll say, I know you're going to go in there and redo it, but he does the best he can with it. And, but he's a great guy. But all my brothers were great guys. We lost my older brother with COVID. And then Dave, we lost Dave. He had a heart attack within an hour. He was gone. And we still miss him, but they're down there in our family cemetery. And there ain't many days that I don't ride in there like I do Shell Point. Yes, I still drive.
Yes.
I don't drive to Moorhead or nowhere like that no more. And my car's almost as old as I am. I said, I don't know which one of us is going to go first. But anyway, she's still. I've carried her 2 or 3 times to trade her in and get me another one, and I've got attached to that car. Yeah, I went to Chapel Hill, and my son-in-law was working there. Working with selling cars and things in Chapel Hill one time. And he called me and he told me, he said, got the nicest car. It's a Saturn 11, nicest car. It's a hybrid. And you hardly take any gas for that car.
Yeah.
And I've had one battery in her all these years.
Wow.
One battery in all these years. And I spent very little money unless windshield wipers and changing the tires and things.
Knock on wood.
That's true.
Yeah.
That was the best car. Now I know that I took care of it too.
Yeah.
But and I took her twice to trade her in, and I couldn't to save my life.
Well,
I looked at her. I said, I can't leave that car. She's still working.
That's right.
So I ride around. I got her out there in her now. But anyway, I love my car. I love my family. I come from a good family, and we always have plenty of food. Like I say,
and fresh food.
Fresh food. Yeah. Oh yeah. You could just step off the porch. There was oysters, clams, scallops. That was in fish. Daddy was a fisherman and a boat builder, so we always had plenty of food.
Wow, that's awesome. And that was, you knew where your food came from, but didn't have a bunch of preservatives in it.
No, it was all fresh.
Yeah, maybe that's the secret to y'all's longevity. you came from good stock.
Yeah.
Now, I know still you are extremely busy. but family is at the forefront of all of that.
Family, you bet it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've always taken care of my children, my grandchildren, and I mostly supported my family
Mm-hmm.
because my husband, he had a real major stroke when he was 52.
Wow.
So after that, he really couldn't, and he was sort of paralyzed on my side.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I could drive a boat. My daddy taught me how to drive a boat.
Mm-hmm.
I could drive a boat. I could drive a trawler. I've been to South Carolina on trawlers of shrimping up there with my brother.
Wow.
But anyway, I was a fisherman, commercial fisherman, had license. I could run the boat just as good as my daddy could teach me.
Mm-hmm.
Because Daddy did teach me a lot of things. He taught me how to sign out clams and all that stuff. But I clammed, I oystered, whatever was in season. I shrimped.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love chattel netting
Wow.
and trawling
Mm-hmm.
and mulleting. I loved a good mulleting. I pulled them up on the beach.
Oh, yes.
And me and my husband, we had 500 yards of flounder net. We had a cabin over at Shackelford.
Okay.
And we would set the flounder nets around the oyster rocks. In fact, that oyster rock, I had oysters off that this week. That's named Nana's Rock.
Nana's Rock.
Nana's Rock. Everybody calls it Nana's Rock.
Oh.
Because it was right in front of our house over there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, and we'd set those flounder nets. And then when the big mullets got bigger, we would catch the mullets with it. And I'd set it right on the stern of, we called it the stern of the boat,
Mm-hmm.
the end of the boat. Had a little platform on it. I sit right there, honey, and take those mullet reels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got mullet reel right now. My grandson bought me.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Now, what was your favorite type of fishing to do? What was your, out of all that you just named?
I think clamming.
Clamming?
Because Daddy, I used to follow along with him. We'd go almost to Cape clamming on, we called it the eastern side over there. And I'd follow him along. He always had his bucket, and he would sign them out.
Okay, you've mentioned that word signing. So explain what that means for people
Signing
who don't know.
out, they had different signs. If it was like the dry shoal, white shoal we called it, when it was hot, real hot, they would spit, and you could see where they had spit.
Would it be like a little bubble or a hole?
Or like if you take a glass of water and pour it on the sand, and you could see where you had poured it out.
Okay.
You knew that was one. And also, when the tide started coming in, now that's really when you could catch them.
Mm-hmm.
When the tide started coming back in, there was a little purple thing about as big as maybe a silver dollar,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be like sunk in. When they started going back down, it would turn purple. That's where they would spit, and I guess it was in the dirt there where it turned.
Wow.
And up on the marshes,
Mm-hmm.
there were loads on the marshes.
Really?
You could just take your hand or a little pea digger, go around the marsh and just pull them right out.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
Daddy taught me how to do all that. So when I went clamming, I really didn't have to pull a rake.
Mm-hmm.
I just grabbed my pea digger, walk along the shore, and I used to take my group when we had that cabin over there to Shackford, and my grandyoungers, Tracy loved it, and Judy. That was the two that really loved it. My daughter Judy and my granddaughter Tracy. And I would walk around and I would say, "Now there's one," and they'd dig it up, put it in a bucket like that. And I broke my arm one time real bad. I had it in a cast, but I was still over there. Just
Still over there.
I went oystering with it in a cast. Believe it or not,
I believe
Alan took me over there oystering, and carried me a bucket to sit on, and I sat there with one hand and nubbed him until I got my basket full. But anyway, and I would show them when. And I had a 5-gallon bucket, and I would I let them. They filled that bucket full where I was just showing them. There's one. I've showed a lot of people that showed me how to. When how did you sign up claims?
Wow, that's really neat. That's amazing.
So and I done it for a living.
And so that was how you made. That's how you supported your family. Was through commercial fishing.
Yeah, me and him together. After he had his stroke, he still had his mind, but he was very disabled. I used to go we lived on the waterfront after we got married, but further up to Western. After I got married, I moved up there where his family came from, about the center of the island.
I started to say about where.
About the center of the island. I would take him in the car. Then we just had a little speedboat, I call it. You know, on the island we call it a little speedboat. And I'd get him in it. Sometimes if you could put it right to the shore, and he could walk. Although he was one side, he couldn't walk too good. I put him in there, and I would put I had those line chairs you used to get way back. You could throw them back, you know.
Oh, yes.
You put in your yard.
Yeah.
I always kept one of them on the boat, and I kept an umbrella, a big umbrella I would put over him. And I would, we'd go right straight across. We'd go across to where the cabin was at. And I always knew there was a lot of clams and oysters or anything you wanted around there. And he would sit in the boat.
And you would steer and get over there.
And I'd anchor, but he went adrift one time. Scared me to death.
No.
Oh, my, I never went with him no more by myself after that. It was the first day of oystering, and I always went on first day of oystering, no matter what. I had to be on Nana's Rock to get some of those oysters. And in fact, I've had some of them this week.
I want
But
some.
Alan caught them, my grandson. But anyway, we went out. I was in Alan's boat then. We didn't even have a boat then. But Alan knew I could drive that boat, and we had it in Calvin's Harbor around the back side of the island.
Yep.
And Alan said, "Well, now, Nana, now I don't know if there's enough gas in it or not, but you better get some more gas." I went to the store. I had him in the car with me, and I went to the store, got some more gas, put it on the dock. You think I didn't forget that? I was so busy, getting in the boat, getting him in there and everything. I left it on the dock.
Oh, wow.
Now, that was my mistake.
Wow.
But I went on around the bay. You had to go through the bay and all around the end of the island, around the front island, about halfway of the island. That's where our cabin was at, over to Shackelford. And I didn't know that Alan had the anchor in there, but he hadn't put the rope on it. He didn't have it tied to the anchor.
Yes.
So up where my Nana's Rock was at, there's a little slough. You could drive the boat right on up in there. I went on up in that little slough. Well, the tide was just bubbling and going out of there because I wanted to get the tide down so I could pick up oysters. Got him situated in the lounge chair with an umbrella over him and everything. And by then he was getting in real bad shape. But anyway, I took my bucket and my little pea digger. I'd pull the oysters down with it, and then I'd nub them and put them in the bucket. And I looked, and the boat had gone adrift with him in it. And any other time there'd been other people over there beside me, there wasn't one soul to Shackelford Banks that day but me. And the tide was just taking that down that little slough right on that. I had a pair of jogging pants on. And I had got them muddy and everything. And I was running, I left everything, trying, and he was deaf. He was just about completely deaf in one ear, and the other he could hear about if he was right up to, because he used to tell me, I got to see you talking so I could hear. That he got out of that war he was in. But anyway, the boat was actually going faster, because then you had to run through marshes, mud,
and you would jog
oyster rocks.
soaking up all that
but I
water.
had a knife in my pocket. If you're a fisherman, you always have a knife in your pocket. I took that knife out. I had a pair of tennis shoes on. That's the reason I didn't cut my feet up. And I just cut the legs off the best I could get them because I knew they were wet, muddy.
Yes.
I couldn't catch that. But there it was going right on through that little slough. I'll tell you what's the truth. If I hadn't got to him when I did, he'd have been in the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, my.
Didn't even know where he was at. He was asleep.
Oh, my goodness. See, that puts
He was
goosebumps on
asleep.
me.
And I kept hollering, but he couldn't hear
Couldn't
me.
hear you.
Anyway, I knew that up ahead there was a little narrow place that skiff, that boat had to go through. And I said, Lord, if you will just let it bump until I can get to it.
Yes.
And he did. And I got to it, and he was just solid, fast asleep.
So he was not scared, but you were.
He wasn't scared because he didn't even know he was going to drift.
No.
And Alan it was a nice boat, real nice, comfortable boat. Anyway, I got him, got hold of the boat. I pulled it all the way back, but I found the anchor.
Oh, wow.
And then I did tie it. But by then, I was so nervous, I said, Lord, I don't know. I'm not going oystering
They
today.
didn't want no oysters.
I went back, I tied it though, and went got my bucket and my rake back off the rock and put it in the boat. Turn the boat around and come on back out.
Wow.
You know what? When I got around the end of Shell Point, on this side, right here, right where we're at now, right there, the boat engine stopped out of gas.
Oh my
I said,
goodness.
Lord, in this world, what am I going to do? I'll tell you what, it was dead low tide, so I could do a lot of just pulling the boat.
Yeah.
I pulled the boat as much as I could, and if I get to those little sloughs, I would paddle it across. Thank God he was with me, right along the edge of the shore. And I had to go all the way around the end of the island.
Yeah, you were not doing the shortcut.
No, I had to go all the way around the end of the island. Well, my daughter Brenda didn't live too far. I mean, she lived out on Bayview Drive then. So I said, well, I'll stop the boat. And my brother Wink lived right beside her. Stopped the boat, anchored it, because I made sure it was tight that time. Anchored the boat and waded through the mud, oyster shells, marshes, to get up there to Brenda's house. And when I got there, she was gone. She was probably going to work because she was at work with the school system. And started to leave. I said, boy, this is great. Him there in that boat, didn't know, still asleep. Half y'all back asleep. I said, this is great. I was black from head with mud.
Mud, yeah.
Anyway, just as I started out, my brother, Wink, lived right beside Wink come. And I said, Wink, I am in the worst scrape. I gave out of gas, got Garland down there in the bay, in the boat, and he said, I got gas in my truck.
Wow.
So he had some gas already in the back of his truck. He went down there with me because it's right straight across from where we were at. And he said, now, if you can't get her started, because sometimes if you give out of gas, they don't want to start. He said, if you can't get her started, I'll come out there and help you. Yeah. I took the gas back through the mud, the marshes, went and got in the boat. He was still laying there asleep. And I put the gas in, and she started the first time.
Oh, wow.
And
there you go.
I waved him that everything was all right, but he was in the harbor waiting to make sure that I got him all right.
I bet
so that was a horror story. I didn't do that no more. I didn't go no more with him by myself after that.
Yeah. Well, no, that would have traumatized me too. Wow. Wow. And that would be a trip that I would never forget.
I'll never forget that one.
Oh, my goodness.
Of all the stories I got in my head, I'll never forget
that. Thank you again for joining us to The Landing. This podcast is brought to you by the Core Sound Waterfowl Museum and Heritage Center. I am your host, Stacy Davis Baisden, and today's podcast was produced by April Davidson. Tune in next week as we continue learning, sharing, and remembering together. If you'd like to hear more, check out our previous episodes where you get your podcasts. Until then, stay safe and be kind.